All right, guys, good morning and welcome to today's live show. If you missed last night's video, well, then you might want to go watch that first because there's just some key things that we were understanding in this area. Now, something that we need to be aware of right now that we didn't point out, and I kind of meant to talk about it in last night's video, was the fact that we still could be going into that area where people are willing to assume some risk. And the reason that I'm going to say that first off in this live stream this morning is just because Bitcoin is finally doing the thing. Bitcoin, remember we were talking about, hey, if you start to break down from here, you start to close below these levels, you start to close below 91.8K, it's bad. But if you can turn up a daily chart, that would be good. And now we're turning up a daily chart, a mean pullback in here. I think you even have 4-hour divergence at the lows. I originally looked at this and I really was like, oh yeah, that's simple divergence. Actually, I do not see it at this moment, so very interesting. But the daily is able to turn up here, and that is something that we were being aware of. And this means, hey, if Bitcoin, everyone's going to go, yeah, Bitcoin, unless that means our dollar is completely collapsing and everyone thinks Bitcoin's the future. I don't think that would tear down the market while Bitcoin goes in the upward direction, but we're still going to treat things very individually, right? There are mixed signals across the board. You have some stocks low that look like they want to pop. You have some stocks in the middle that look like they need a pullback. You have some stocks really, really high up that look like they need a big pullback. So you really just got to be paying attention to the chart in front of you and then making sure you're managing the trade very, very well. As of right now, this SPY, the reason that we're talking about this a little bit is just because today, you would not expect this in this environment at all. And this is what I think is super interesting. We have about maybe 6% implied volatility for the day. So if we get any kind of news today at all, whether that is bullish or bearish, we can see a move outside of these red lines. Now, we still want to treat it like 68%, which means today should be boring. Right, today should be like this, but we'll see what happens with this going forward, because as you look at it right now, you have divergence there. You have divergence on the MACD and RSI at the same time. If that confirms and the 2-hour crosses down, it's very likely for us to see that pull further down to something like 606. I mean, testing that breakout level could be very, very nice. I mean, we could even come down and test in these levels. I just want to see whenever that 2 hours is able to curl back up. If this is going to be worse, right, and we're going to fall through the floor, have a chance to fall through the floor, I think you got to be looking at 4-hour charts. So 4-hour charts would be the thing to watch here. If this confirms down, well, then we might be seeing continued selling for quite some time, and we're not getting that third bar to come down and then wick up, right? So that would mean we're actually confirming lower and constantly going lower here for that 4 hours. So it would be a warning flag. It would be a warning sign. We still have to understand that this is overall bullish, and any kind of pullback that comes, this could just be a small 30-minute pullback and we end in that upward direction. If it's going to be a bigger one, we could end in that upward direction. Even if that 4-hour crosses, it could say we're going to head down, but then we hit our head on 600 and end up curling back up, right? We want to really be open to things curling back up. But that doesn't mean I'm going to guess it's going to curl up. It means I'm going to react once it does, right? I'm going to sell my contracts once it hits certain levels, right? Our weekly expected move, daily expected move, monthly expected move, any of those levels are what I'll sell on. And then I'll leave some runners. And then if it turns back around, I'm fully out of the play. Doesn't that sound nice? Some things across the board though, the Qs, if you need those ranges real quick, we do have 542.59 to the upside, 536.45 to the downside. This is the smallest. I think it's in the probably the top 3. I think it's like the 3rd smallest range I've ever seen for the Qs. So today could be pretty interesting, and the 30-minute is showing that divergence as well, and it's confirmed. So overall, the Qs are saying a downward test of the 5-day is the most probable thing for today. Over 160% gain. Remember my 35K in Palantir puts? I came here to brag about them today. Let's go, Carter. Let's go, dude. Let me go look. I gotta see it. Wow. Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think this is just, I mean, if you found a spot in here, maybe with an hourly chart, I bet an hourly chart is your friend here. Not even necessarily, right? You kind of have to dig a little deeper and be willing to take that trade early and just realize like, hey, this needs to kind of throw up for a sec. And then you're kind of hoping the bulls are probably like, oh, we're going to bounce from this level. And then you see another move down. Oof. Oh, you're loving life, aren't you? Oh, you're loving life, aren't you? Oh, you're doing it, aren't you? Shitting in the street. Oh, God. That's really good. That's dope. I'm super proud of you. I think that's awesome. It makes me smile. That's awesome. Let's go, dude. Gain so far, yeah. Let's make that a good gain, though, right? At the end of the day, it's like that gain's only as good as the percentages stay good, right? We don't want things to turn back around, try to make $1 million, but you know, hey, you do you. It seems like you made a great decision, and that's awesome. We were always looking for Palantir to throw up eventually, just like Meta, but my goodness, did that thing throw up? Me and Random watching streams all the time. We were always talking about the stuff you're teaching. Huh? Well, hopefully it's helpful things. Hopefully it's good things, right? I'm sure I don't give the best help every once in a while. I feel like I don't do a good job, but hopefully it's all good things. You see ARM a buy from where it is now? Not yet. Finally meta dived. Yeah, finally, Tina. Am I right? Jeez. I got tricked out of the trade, though. I was looking for that 30-minute divergence one more time. So I had to manage the trade, and then I was like, ah, dang it. Well, for this right here, though, I mean, you look at the hourly. I know we're on an hourly chart, but I actually think that's the smoothest one right now. Hit weekly because scared me sometime. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I think that's great. That's just utilizing the information that you have, utilizing the edge that you have, right? The information you have. A lot of people don't have weekly expected moves. I've seen almost no one use them. I've seen no one use them. I've seen no one use monthly expected moves, and look how much it can unlock your trading. It's so nice. And if you just know how to trade around those, it's pretty fun, right? It becomes pretty fun. JP Morgan, I think could be a potential short. And I was right about the major crash. What's the major crash? Sorry, youngest step, and I'm trying to see. And I was right about the major crash. What's the major crash? There's no major crash right now. I need XLF to throw up. Let's go. Well, that's where we need to look at JP Morgan. But looking at ARM here real quick for Tina. It's just very interesting to me that you have this hourly divergence. Now, I'm still going to do, I would actually be paying attention to this. I think this is super interesting. Okay, if you can break through, I think it's actually, I'm going to exclude that one wick just to make it nice and tight here with the third touch. I like the third touch. Remember that from the core? Oh, for Palantir. Okay, youngest Stephen, let's go. Yeah, I like the 3 touches. You guys know if you took the course, that's what I like. But for now, I'm sure someone's doing this and going like that and going, oh, we just broke down. If this is a fake out, I really like this hourly chart, because if this is a fake out, then you might just see the hourly be able to confirm back above the 5, and then you end up breaking to the upside. I want to look at this from a 2-hour perspective and see, oh, the 2-hour divergence did hold here. So this is not confirmed as a base right now, but it is attempting to be a very tricky base, right? You made the double bottom, saw a good reaction, then you consolidated for downside with almost like the 1, 2, 3 here. Now you're seeing the divergence on the 2-hour. So if the 2-hour confirms up, I think it's back to the bull side. If that does not happen, then this will most likely continue. And I think it's as simple as that. I really do. Now on the 30-minute, it looks like you could get a hit from the 30-minute, weirdly enough. So there's 2 things that could really happen with this 30-minute if it's going to make a base to head up. Right now, I want to be very clear, it is pointing down. We see the MACD pointing down. We see the RSI down there, okay? But here's the thing. The 30-minute here actually is holding the divergence point. It is holding all the divergence points from the past. So it's not the best signal in the world. It's very wonky, but this can, if it takes back the 5 right now, this can say, hey, that 2-hour is going to curl up. Right now, something like this could need to take place. All right, that little divergence like this. So we want to be open to something like this as well. I think that would be fantastic to be watching. Because if this little setup happens, it just makes the 2-hour curling up very, very clear. So those are some things that I'd be looking for. But as of right now, you're breaking through resistance. So you're only looking if this is a trick. As of right now, it's saying down, right? We see that very clearly. Very, very clearly that this is saying down, right? Everyone gets that, right? We're even seeing this. Look at this, left head, right shoulder, down. So maybe we do this and retest and go further down. But what we're paying attention to is both sides. We know that the direction is down. Is the trade down right now? I think that's rough to say because your 30-minute looks like it wants to bounce, but you'll have to see. As of right now, though, you just want to be like, okay, if that 30-minute curls up, I need to understand the 2-hour can curl up, and this could be a fake out. If none of this happens, it's probably not a fake out, and you're probably heading that way for ARM. Oh, we did open. Dang it. Thanks, Laws. I saw the ding-ding, and it made me go, oh, it opened. On yesterday, JP Morgan, yeah, I wanted to look at this again. Now, I really just wanted to ask you guys, like, if you found me looking through JP Morgan extensively was a good thing. Anyone who watched the video last night, please let me know if you felt that me looking extensively through a stock that we don't normally look at, but I think it was a warning sign, was a good thing. Just let me know what you think in the chat, okay? Because the thing with JP Morgan, the reason I was really talking about this was because banks do tend to be the issue. I mean, look at every single crisis, and usually banks are involved, right? Every single crisis, usually in some way, a bank is involved because they lend out all the money, right? So perfectly fine to go through JPM. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just making sure because I want to be looking at things that you guys are able to not necessarily understand. I know you guys will understand this, but more so look at things that are helpful to you. So I just wanted to be as helpful as possible, and this is a great way for me to ask if that was helpful. So thank you, Anthony. Thought it was a good thing on Miss Bombshell liked it. Nat liked it too. Okay, good. I'm glad. This is a great example, and this is also, I think, a warning sign because if JP Morgan is saying this. Now, the other thing to look at here is, are we going to go through a correction based on JP Morgan? Are we going to go through a correction to get the daily out of overbought conditions? That's the main thing I'm looking at right now, because we're noticing that JP Morgan doesn't necessarily have the best signals on the MACD, right? We notice that it doesn't have the best signals on the MACD. We don't see real divergence here on the daily with the 2 swing ups. We see very, very flat here. So this can be a corrective move. It can be a pretty good percentage move down, right? It can be 5-6%. It could be down here towards where I'm leaning, which is 250. I think 250 is a great level for it. But at the end of the day, it could go all the way back down to something like 240. And so 240 would be very interesting, but that would be maybe corrective, because we don't have that good solid divergence. So it just means to me, I need to be aware if this daily turns up. If it does drop at any time, does it curl up, right? That's kind of why we were doing this, because at any time this could curl up, create that divergence point, right? And let's say it's a minor thing. Let's say it's a little smaller like this, right? Let's say it's just a 4%, 3 to 5% in here. Okay, if that were to happen and then curl up again, people would probably get very bullish, and then maybe we see something bad in March, right? This would line up to March, and that's where we could create that divergence point. So I wanted to put that thought out there to see what you guys think, but for the most part, I'm sitting there going, you know, JP Morgan might be saying something, but it might just be saying for now it needs to correct, which means the SPY might see a quick correction as well. I don't know if it would be a correction as in a major, like a 10%, 15% correction. I think you're more so looking for this to correct very quickly down to lower levels. See JP Morgan correct very quickly down to lower levels, then you're able to scoop up again if that's going to remain positive. The only problem with that is you'd be curling over a daily MACD, and I think that's a very bad sign. Now, we could still get some hints from volatility, right? Volatility, if this turns down on a 2-hour, we should be saying bullish, right? We should be saying bullish. But as of right now, it's holding up at a higher level, hasn't even reached down to fill the gap. If that curls down, it could create that little divergence, right? Like this. But also, it could just get going right now. So we need to be paying attention to if the daily actually crosses into positive territory. As of right now, getting a test of the 9. So there's a lot of warning signs. But is it really that bearish, right? If nothing really bad does happen, then I think we just correct a little bit, right? I'm saying like a correction on like a 2-hour chart maybe, and then we end up seeing more upside. So I'm going to be paying attention to this drop. I'm really going to be paying attention to if we hold these levels, and if we hold these levels, and then on the way down, if we hold these levels by our monthly expected move, if we end up seeing something really bad. right? We can just watch the signals and say, hey, if this 30-minute crosses down outside of a daily expected move, we know that expected move is very small, so we should be open to something crazy happening. And then we'll watch if that actually does cross through. We're seeing that on the RSI. We're seeing it with the price action. But hey, we're only 6 minutes into the day. Bitcoin to 75K on the weekly. No one expects a 20% pullback till it's too late. But all the big guys are sat waiting at 75K. Check it out. Well, Benny Crypto, I wanted to run something by you then, because we did talk about it this morning, Benny. Then why is the daily confirming up so strongly here? Okay, I was on that boat with you, Benny. I was on that boat with you if we see a close below 91.8K. I'm on that boat with you if we see a daily close below 91.8K. I think all of the probabilities start to grow a bit for this to see a flush through all this in here to get to where those buyers are at. And I think those buyers are sitting right in here. I'm actually going to mark this off right now. Actually, I think that's a great little level there. I don't have the right thing. Right there, and I do not want it that thick. Holy crap. Let's do a 2, make it white. Let's not do a 2. Okay, now we're good. I think somewhere around there. I really think somewhere in that general area around that 69.5K looks very, very good. The problem is this thing is curling up on a daily chart. Now, let's look at this then. What's the most likely thing with this daily chart? Well, these times you're pretty close to positive territory. This time you're a little bit further away. So let's be open to the lower high scenario, which means we might see a move to 101.2. We might see a move to test these highs up at 104.8K, and then we'll run into problems, right? We'll see if this sets up like this. This would be the bullish way to head higher, in my opinion. Maybe not that big of a dip, by the way. But I think that's how you would want to do it. You want to react to these type of levels and then get that little pullback to break through resistance. But if this flashes to the upside and just curls back down, you're looking at a potential move here that could take you through that 91.8K. So I'm just interested what you think. Bullish divergence on Mara. Yes, Mara. Mara is looking good too. We pointed that out yesterday. Mara with the 2 hour, right? We pointed this out yesterday. 2 hour signal is here. Mara's saying, I'm a go, 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 go. Mara is like literally 2 hours away from crossing up into positive territory. You got 2 hour divergence. The last time you had 2 hour divergence, hey, positive move happened. It failed, right? With another 2 hour divergence right here. So now you have it to the downside, right? So here's how stocks move. 2 hour divergence, it bounces. 2 hour divergence to the upside, it falls. 2 hour divergence, it bounces, right? So this is before the bounce, and then you just have to make sure all that is going right. Okay? From this move, we can see that it never really went wrong until it saw a good move. So if this is going to produce, I think you could end up at that 18.73 test pretty soon if you get that confirmation on the 2 hour. I'm sorry, MSTR rebranded? What's it rebranded to? MSTR, you're building a ton of liquidity. I think this is probably one of your last shots to see MSTR see positivity, and that's if the 2 hour curls up into positive territory. That's what I think for this guy. I think it'll maybe be a look at it at the end of the day kind of thing. And then that daily can maybe start to curl up. Now, the thing about the daily is you're getting some interesting stuff here. Okay, because you did see this good move, you've pulled down, you're building a ton in here. I mean, look at the mess that's going on in here. So you're building a lot. If this daily curls up, where do you think that'll be distributed? To the upside. And it's closer to the center line than, say, Bitcoin. And Bitcoin showing good signals, which MSTR likes. So MSTR can see some positivity. And I think it all begins if, you know, I think the opportunity begins, and then you got to start to manage the trade if this 2 hour crosses up. I hear that, brother. I was just looking on CoinGlass for Bitcoin, where all the liquidations and big guys are, and they're not in the 90K zone. They're all in the 75K area. Yeah, you probably see that from maybe even volume profile. I highly assume that you can see that from it. I don't doubt that. I'm saying there could be a certain news event that gets people bullish above 100K. Maybe we even see that go to higher levels, go to like 112 or something like that for Bitcoin, and then it's a big trap. I think we're walking into a big trap either way. But lower high is the most probable thing as it looks right now for Bitcoin. Yeah, lower high is the most likely scenario at this moment. Rebounds as strategy unveils new logo. They're no longer wanted to be micro. Well, I don't want to be micro either, but I've taken a lot of pills for it, and nothing's ever worked, so maybe I should learn from them. Wonder what they're going to do. Bert wants to check out the NQ, and then we'll go look at Microsoft for Noah, okay? Let's go look at the NQ and spread this out to a 2 hour and just say, hey, if that 2 hour curls up, isn't it a good thing? That's it. Hey, if that 2 hour curls up, what do you think? Do you think we have a chance to test this high, maybe even go make a new one? Uh-oh. What does that tell us about the Qs in general? Well, it tells us about the Qs in general. Hey, we should probably be looking for, do those curl up? Does this fail? Right? What are the things telling us here? Does the daily have a cross down? No, it doesn't. Does the 4 hour? Right? We got to go through all these. All right, 4 hours cross down, but doesn't that look like it could make one more move? Maybe it's one more trap. Look at this 4 hour. What if the 4 hour did this? What if the 4 hour popped up, said, yeah, get bullish. It's Friday. Take me into the weekend. We see that. It wouldn't be a great sign, but you know, the NQ isn't known to give like, I wouldn't say that the NQ gives the best divergences. At least in recent time, we're not seeing the best divergences on the 4 hour chart. If you look at a 2 hour, you might start to see some stuff, right? We see it here, we see it slightly here on just your RSI, right? We can kind of see here that flatness on the RSI. We see the divergence at the top, right? But for the most part, the 2 hour is the only thing really giving those signals. So if I see a 4 hour signal here, I'm going to be pretty excited that that's going to be a trap. But technically today, pulling back to something like 610, which by the way, we should be pulling that up. I don't know why I'm sleeping on it, but if you look at this here, we got 617, 612, and what? 610. So where are we heading right now? Well, we're heading to 610. Now, why could 610 be important? Well, it's right around our daily expected move. It's just $1 off, right? It's $1 off. So we could do this and then see that 68% come in, go fill this gap, maybe go up to the upside. Maybe it's a fake out. We'll see. But we don't want to read into it too much. We just want to say, hey, there's 30-minute divergence. If that confirms and bad news comes and we're outside of this range, then we can see a pretty good dump. So we'll be looking for that to whip back up if it does cross. Okay. On the economic calendar, the initial jobless claims came in, supposed to come in at 215K to 220K, and it came in at 219. The previous was adjusted to 214, and the continuous jobless claims are 1869K. The previous got adjusted to 1845K. And the consensus on this was 1870K, 1879K. So we did come in lower than the forecast. Very interesting there. We will get some Fed speakers and some crude oil data later today. And then, okay, now I misspoke about this about a week ago, but I wanted to show you guys now because I accidentally did it with China. I know, very strange, but I did it with China. Japan. We've been paying attention to Japan, and at 5:30 today, we will get the Japanese inflation rate. That's supposed to tick up to just 3.7. Okay, supposed to just tick up to 3.7. So we'll see what comes out for this data, and I might mention it in tonight's video if I can. Or I'll take a snapshot of it to show you guys in the morning. SPY dumping as we speak. There you go. This is the risk of today. When Trump pumps it for months, now he's tied to Bitcoin. It's bad for Bitcoin when Trump lies and taxes the whole world. It sucks. Well, the whole world is taxing America. I want you to be very clear about that, Benny. I want you to understand that every country that we are putting a tariff on is potentially a reciprocal tariff. That means that they're taxing us. Okay? Like, just so you're aware, that is what's happening. Now, do I agree with you that he probably shouldn't be Bitcoin? Maybe not. But what if he believes in that a little bit more? You know? What if he does actually believe what he's saying? You know, it might be a good thing for Bitcoin people. But if Trump likes it, then I assume it might be a bad thing soon. I'm just saying, the whole tariff thing, I don't get why people are losing their mind. It's like everyone else charges us tariffs, and all he's saying is reciprocal tariff. Reciprocal tariff means, hey, you charge me 5% for that? Okay, I'll charge you 5% for mine. That's it. Like, I really don't think it's that bad. I don't see why people lose their minds about it. And that's true too. It's not necessarily, it is a good reason, Jim, but we knew that this year was going to be crazy anyway, right? We called out the confusion back in, October? We were like, yeah, 2025, probably going to be a confusing year. SPY drop and continue to drop. Well, this is what you want to see. But just remember, it's retail hour too. Yeah, I understand, but it isn't Trump trying to tax everyone a lot higher than think. That's the problem. If it's 25% instead of 10 or 15, I think, but don't quote me. Well, yes, if it's higher, then that would be something that maybe I don't fully agree with. I'd have to look into it more in order to see if I disagree or agree. But I will tell you right now, Benny, if someone is charging me 20% for my chips, and I'm charging them 0% for their chips, then all I'm doing is helping them out and hurting myself. So what I'm overall saying is a reciprocal tariff is something I agree with, because I believe if you're going to tax me for something, then why is it just a one-way street? I should be taxing you for something, or not taxing, tariffing you for something at the same rate. It's just even. It's fair. Well, you got to think of negotiation, right? I think Canada's a different boat. We have 36 trillion reasons to do it. That's me, you know? You know? I've seen that with the argument of the $5,000 thing. I've thought about making a whole video based on the $5,000 thing. It's all reciprocal. The only country we don't have an import debt with is Australia. We have a debt of $3 billion with Canada. So the other part to it is, if there is an increase in price, say for Toyota, well, then you just might see more sales of Ford. That's good for America. Like, do you see how that, like, if Toyota is not producing a car here and they get tariffed for shipping the car over to us, well, then that price might increase. But also, the price of Ford vehicles could either stay the same or even get cheaper if they open up production further and start to do more volume. So there's tons of ways to look at it. Hedge funds were not long on the carry trade, expecting it to go to 160. So now that it's reversing early, that yen carry trade part 2. Yeah, we can check on JPY. Let me do it on my other chart because this thing's loading pretty poorly. There you go. I mean, we were looking at this from the weekly standpoint. The weekly is what we wanted to watch, and look. So this just want to show you. Remember, the last time that this happened, we saw about an 8% drop in the market in about 4 weeks. I think it was about 8% in 4 weeks. This is the same thing that happened here at a higher level. This, weirdly enough, could be worse this time than 8%. But this is confirming now. We were looking for the good. This isn't a good confirmation. This red bar is not a good one. This one's a good one. Do we really think we're going to get 5K? It depends, but I think this is the better way to get 5K. I think this is much better than regular, just random stimulus or something. It is odd, Jack Cats. I've been kind of keeping my eye on yields. It's been acting very, very weird. Panic buy eggs. So here's my thinking on the 5,000. You guys, and I want to be very clear about this. So if I'm an investor in a company, and let's say I give them 5K. Okay, now let's say that company uses the money or is about to use the money and waste it all with fraud. Right? They're about to use it all with fraud. Someone comes in and catches them. Right? Someone comes in, let's say this is Elon, and he points a big old finger, his big old thumb, his hand, I guess, you know, whatever. This guy just points at it. That looks like a penis or something. I don't know what I'm drawing anymore. But let's say he does this and he goes, hey, look over here. There's fraud here. Oh, we caught them in the fraud. So then they take the money away. But have you ever heard of a time where the fraud leads to investors being paid back after the money's been spent and taken back, technically? It's like, no. Have you ever heard of that from a business? No, usually the business gets bailed out. The big people pay themselves big checks. I mean, look at 2008. The big people pay themselves big checks. And then the regular investor, the irregular American, is screwed. So this is a time where the investor, aka the taxpayer, invested forcefully into America, right? And the American government spent it in a wasteful or fraudulent way. And now the people in charge are saying, instead of just saying, oh, we caught this, look how good we are, now we're going to use it for something else. No, we're going to give it back to the investor. I'm okay with that, actually. I have never seen that in the whole time I've been alive. And I'm just saying, like, that if you're going to do it that way, that's fine. Now, I don't want multiple payments. Can anyone understand why I don't want multiple times of this happening before we take care of our debt? There is a reason that I really don't want them to pay out over and over and over and over again. It's a very simple reason, and we've gone through it for years now. It's inflationary, exactly. So this one payment of 5K is transitory, right? Seems no one is going to mention that carry trade, huh? Huh, Mr. Pickle? But look at that carry trade popping up. We're going to show it for a little bit while we talk about some stuff. Okay, so one payment of 5K is transitory. No. This actually is, though, laws. But what makes it not transitory is continued 5K payments. Let's say they're saying we're going to do one payment a year for 5 years. So 5 payments at 5K equals not transitory, right? Why? Well, because this will cause inflation for a small amount of time. It's one time. This will cause inflation 5 times. Do you understand? So in this scenario, you see a spike, and then that kind of evens out, maybe even comes down, right? This one, you see this, a spike, even out, a spike, even out, a spike, even out, a spike, even out, a spike, 5 times. So that's a good thing to know, and it's just a good brain exercise to try to think about these things that you're reading on the internet. Don't just read something on the internet. Try to formulate what you can, try to use it as a chance to critically think. It's a free time to critically think. And then you can come into my chat and bring up your points, right? And we can talk about them. And I'm not going to, sometimes I might say you're wrong, but you might not be. It might just be my opinion and yours contradict. But that is how I understand the transitory thing. I understand that transitory means it's going to show up for a little bit and then go away. The reason that it wasn't transitory, and people are saying stimulus is what caused the inflation. That is wrong, unless you include those PP loans. PP loans caused a bigger problem than the actual stimulus. That's one. 2, the real problem was actually government spending. So there's another thing to talk about here, and I know this is a random tangent, but I've had this in my head for days as I've been reading people on Twitter just say the dumbest shit about the 5K. So government spending is one of the biggest drivers of inflation, but overall, it's just spending in general. This is why stimulus can cause inflation. This is why PP loans can cause inflation, because it is spending. Spending, spending, spending. How do you grow the economy? You spend money. You spend, 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 spend. Okay? So government spending is one of the most wasteful things. That is why government spending does actually, and I know I'm saying it like I'm just saying it in a dramatic way. I'm not saying it to like, I felt like I gave a tone of like, someone's dumb. You're not dumb. Government spending is literally something that causes inflation. Now, why is that not transitory? What have we seen for years and years and years? What has been higher? Government spending? Huh? Or the government, say, income? Well, what's always higher? This is always higher. This is always lower. Which means what? You're in this scenario with government spending. But guess what? Then a company, or not a company, what do you want to call it? An agency, I guess, like Doge comes along and says, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to cut out all of this spending. We're going to look at it and see if there's any waste. Okay, we found some waste. This is all you've seen is probably like this on a chart. But I guarantee you, I mean, it's very unlikely that governments aren't going to waste money, by the way. So I don't have a lot of hope in it. But you're in this scenario because of government spending. And so the fact that we actually took the money out of wasteful government spending and put it to the people, I like it more. But I don't want multiple payments because that would cause us to have a stickier inflation or continued points of inflation where it just continues to rise every time you get 5K. Wow, that happened while I was talking. I'm kind of dumb, to be frank. No, it's just sometimes when I'm explaining stuff, I do that like, I don't know, that voice, and this actually happened early on when I was on YouTube. My wife actually sat me down and she said, hey, you wanted me to watch some of your videos to make sure, everything's going all right and make sure you sound good and the sound quality's good, all that stuff, and the video's good. She goes, but I noticed something about your tone of voice. She goes, you need to just explain this stuff like you're explaining it to me when you talk to me about it. And it was one of the best advice I ever got. Better take a look at the SPY. I am, and it's confirming. Just remember, it's retail hour. If they really wanted this to be bad, wouldn't they have gapped it down? They kind of want you to see this, right? Whenever it's happening during market hours now, as dark pool is getting higher up than lit market, or off exchange is bigger than on exchange is the correct probably way to put it. This probably, if this is going to be, I'm going to read into it like it's bad. Like this looks bad, right? This looks bad. My positions are enjoying it, but this doesn't look good. But the fact that I'm able to see it is kind of interesting because remember when they didn't let you see it in the morning? Remember when they don't let you see it in the morning? Like in here, this was the afternoon. In here, this was the morning, but notice what happened after. We ended up after all of it. So just keep an open eye to it. Like I said, if they don't want you to be able to participate, why are they showing it to you? Why are they showing it to you? You know what I mean? Right here. Why are they showing it to you? Why are they showing you the sell? Just something to keep in mind. I'm down for it to keep dropping. I'm still going to be holding on to these things if it keeps dropping, but I'm going to be very aware if this thing whips back around. 90s, you'd never see a sell-off without a gap up first. Never a gap down and sell-off. Not sure why, but it's almost typical market dynamics. It depends on if you're going to get an actual crash moment, I think, because during those moments, you'll see... sometimes the multiple gaps down. So if you take into consideration, say July, this was the last time that yen carry trade produced. Right here. This is July 15th. Right here. We went up, and then you gap down, and then you see a bounce, and then you gap down, and then you see a bounce, and then you gap down. And then you gap down. So there are times where it's more volatile. I think you will see those gap downs. I don't think you see it in the lit market as much, and we're not the same environment as the 1990s. In the 1990s, did we have more off-exchange trades or more on-exchange trades? Oh, they have more off exchange. So that's the only thing I'm reading into. I'm just reading into it though. This is great, guys. This is fan freaking tastic. We love to see this. We need to go check on volatility because that thing might be, oh my goodness. If that weekly turns up, guys, yeah, it's now if that weekly turns up. By tomorrow, if that thing's turned up, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be like, all right, maybe we catch a little bounce, but we know the direction at this point. If the stimulus goes out this year, which sector do you think? Actually, don't call it stimulus. Stop calling it stimulus. That's one. It's not stimulus. They are, in this definition, stimulus is just a payout, right? This is a payback for the taxes that you technically put in. Technically, you put taxes in. They tried to waste that money. They found the waste. They said, no, we're not doing that. Okay, let's pay the people back. That's not bad. It's like a tax refund. And I saw Willow put that, and I like that word right now, refund. It's an interest-free loan repayment. Pretty much, yeah. I don't want it to continue. A lot of people definitely are owed more than $5,000, and some people are probably owed nothing. But the way to make it fair is just say, hey, every taxpayer gets it. I get it. Now, let me read all of Short Friday's statement here. Which sector do you think will benefit most from people loading the money back into the stock market? Well, so here's the thing. If it's going to the average American, and still at this time, I think you actually might. I think you might want to be watching AMC and GME. I genuinely do. I don't think all $5,000, like if I got 5K or, someone paying attention to AMC or GME got 5K, I don't think they would just throw all 5K at AMC or GME. I think they're in too tight of a spot. But I do think AMC and GME could see some buys or things that are popular with retail. AMC, GME, maybe DJT, maybe SoFi, Palantir, AVGO. Things like that. People are really paying attention to that. Maybe Tesla. Tesla would be a big one. Maybe AMD. Maybe SMCI, even though I think that's bad. Maybe Mara, right? I think you got to look at different names for that. The sector, I guess overall you would say maybe small caps. Tax rebate, Jay Choi. Would it be better to pay the balance towards the debt? Yes, it would, but I want you to take into consideration something. Think further. What have they looked into genuinely? What have they looked into? USAID, which is not USAID. Be very clear. Do you think USAID is USAID? This is not for just aid everywhere. The title of this is to be very nice and show that aid. But it's an agency for international development. It in no way means that this has to be used for, say, charitable goods or anything like that. But there is money they found in here. Where do you think there would be more money fraud? You're looking at the stock market right now. This should be very easy for you to point out where the bigger money fraud could be happening. Come on. You guys look at stocks all the time. What agencies do you think they could look into where they would find more money than USAID? Come on, someone out there's got their tinfoil. Defense could be a huge one. But let's think about stocks. Social Security. I think they've already looked into that though. But what agencies? Oh, there's one. There's one. There's two. SEC. Okay. It's all of them, guys. But if you're paying attention to the market, SEC. Imagine they look into the SEC. How many times have we seen the SEC, charge people for things, not charge people for things, Are they getting kickbacks? What's going on here? Because there's some weird stuff that goes on with the SEC right now. And we know that. The other part to it is, I believe, IRS. The IRS might just go away if they get rid of taxes. That's the funny thing. Now, here's the thing with that. I did see someone mention this. Fed, right? That's great too. But here's the thing. They've only looked into this. They haven't looked into this yet. So what does that mean to me? That means to me, I'm fine if they found a little, and I understand why they would pay back the people. What did this administration run on? What did this administration run on? What did they always say? We think that the American people are sick of being put last, and we are going to put them first. So isn't it nice that they're following that to a T now? They are following their words if they actually find waste, and then they pay the people back a little bit first, give them some kind of repayment for their wasted money, and then they go find big money down here and they take care of the debt. And also, not all of this money is going to a repayment for us, right? Because I think if you repaid for us, each person would actually get like 11 grand. So where's the other money going? People are saying that they should put that towards the debt, and that would be the smart thing to do. That's it. Right? That is how I'm reading into things. And I'm just giving those ideas. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm just trying to put my critical thinking skills to use. It's a great way to give your brain a workout, right? Try to figure it out. That's what I did for a couple of hours yesterday. And then it led me into some charts, right? And then I started looking at charts and I thought, okay, the most important thing to tell you guys is whatever I put in my video last night, right? But the dollar's starting to turn down again. 10-year yield starting to turn down again, but volatility is spiking. The SPY is curling down on the 30 minutes. So each person in the US would have to pay around 102K to pay it off. Exactly. It's going to take time. Whatever Doge is doing, it's for the benefit of the wealthy people. It is not going to make changes or reduce our taxes. Not at all. The game of politics is for the rich to get richer. And that's pretty true. But I think things are a little different when a lot of those politicians who are the rich getting richer are starting to freak out. So I think we might be off on that assessment a little bit, Tina. I'm not saying completely off. That's just how I'm reading into it, and it looks like you're reading into it that way. But if you just get rid of, actual wasteful spending, and then the government actually aligns with the people on what we should actually be doing with money, and they get rid of taxes, I just feel like you're going to get so much money to come in, you might actually see a boom at some point. Yeah, and short Fridays, the way that I would read into it is, what if we do go through that correction phase and then we get that $5,000 payment and it just new all-time highs again, it would be a crazy way to get the market to go higher, and that's true, and I think that's a good thing to add on there, Freddie, for Tina's statement. Benefit of it, it's not going to make changes or reduce our taxes. Well, they've blatantly said multiple times they want to get rid of income tax. That will help your taxes. It will. The reason you like that is if you're someone who's W-2, not 1099 or something, or you don't pay taxes quarterly or biannually, you would like it if you're W-2 because it keeps the money in your pocket. Now, the key thing is, guys, I think this is the most important point of everything we're talking about. I'm glad there's a bunch of people. I know it's annoying that I'm talking about this stuff today, but I looked at it a lot yesterday, and then we can go look at stocks right after this part, okay? We are looking at the SPY right now, just completely vomit. But something key here is, let's see here. Wait, let me read this so I get my thought back. Game of politics for the rich to get richer. Most Americans don't pay taxes. Income taxes, exactly. Talk to me more. But they're adding 20-30% consumer tax if they get rid of income tax. What? If okay. I see what you're saying. Well, you shouldn't be taxed for buying something. You shouldn't be taxed for using the money, for stimulating the economy. Yeah, Wall Street Ponzi. Yeah, you're just pointing it out, but it's a one-time thing. That's why I don't want multiple payments. Pay around $250. That's because you and Callie, Tina. You and Callie making them big dollars, you know what I'm saying? If they can reduce to half, then I would believe their statement and actions. Exactly, Tina. And I think, Tina, I actually think your mindset is not a bad one. Keep being critical. We should always be critical of Trump and Elon as well. We should say when we like something. We should say when we don't like something. Palantir got smacked now again. Oh my goodness. Wait, where the heck? For the GDP possible revaluation of gold. Dude, gold. Shit, guys. You guys, all right, in the chat. Is gold there? Is the gold there? Do we have the gold? Just got into Palantir long at 96. No. We should be critical of government, period. Exactly, Wall Street Ponzi. I'm glad we're on the same page. No, Wall Street Ponzi's like, no, it's not there, dude. I really have a hard time believing it is either. I think no is probably the answer. It did decouple from the gold, but it's still important to have the gold. It's actually more important to have the gold without the gold standard. Do people put that together? Do you understand? It's more important to have the gold without the gold standard. Like, it's very important to have the gold without the gold standard. All right, let's look at other things though. VIX still popping or VIX dropping? No reversals from this. One thing we want to be paying attention to is a retest. All right, if this is going to the best moves from volatility don't look back. They just go, right? We've experienced this lately. We experienced this, right? It just went. This is the only time it came back. Then it went and it was like, yeah, we're going to come back again. Nope. But the best ones just go. So we're outfounded. Well, that's actually very true. The people control everything. You control everything. Oh, that's what I was actually going to mention. Thank you for saying that. Okay. So here's the last bit, and then we'll just focus on stocks. So that $5,000, $5K, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think like a huge percentage of people, spend that money right away? What do you guys think? I just want to know. JP Morgan trade's going freaking fantastic. Thank you for asking, Magnum. I'm very happy about it. Oh yeah, okay, so you think a high percentage of people, and I know 90% is really high, but you'll say a big percentage of people spend the money right away, or maybe put it into stocks, pay debt, do all those things. Like, I get it. They spend it though, right? So what could you do that would be different if you're in a good situation, right? You need to understand something about when you do get these things. When you get these things, you can put yourself in a good spot or a bad spot. A bad spot is I spend it wastefully. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? So if you are someone right now who is excited to get it because you want to buy a new TV, you want to buy a new Xbox or a PlayStation, you want to buy a new phone, you want to buy this, you want to consume. Consumer spending, as people in the chat have correctly pointed out, consumer spending is one of the biggest drivers of inflation because it grows the economy. So, what could you do? And I said this in a tweet, be the black sheep. Be the black sheep. Be the different one. Don't be the 90%. Be the 10%. What does the 10% probably do? They use it most likely to pay down debt. to put themselves in a good spot, to save. Maybe even to invest, you know, it could be to invest, but I'd say that would more so be in the 90%. You're still potentially, you can be wrong in that investment. So what I would say is use it as your savings now. Hey, guess what? You just got a free savings. If you don't have a savings, you just got a free one from the government. If you don't have to use it, don't use it. Richard was like, invest in GME, and part of me goes, oh yeah, that's actually good. Like, let me do that. All right, Microsoft, Noah. Thank you for being so patient, Noah. Appreciate you, buddy. Microsoft's actually in a great spot still. It's not seeing a major sell-off. We're still in a very positive trend on the 30-minute. If the 30-minute curls down and curls back up, hey, that could just be that retest off of the 5 to go higher, right? We could be trying to do this eventually. I think you got to react a little bit higher up, maybe to 418.5. Right, get up to here, then see that curl down, then curl up, and you got yourself head and shoulders to the upside. That's how I think you would head up, but this still looks okay. You would start to get more worried if the 2-hour crossed down. So if we go through something bad and you see that 2-hour cross, it is pretty set and go that we are heading down to about 393.20. 393.20 takes us into these wicks, into this zone. That is where I think it's highly likely we see a bounce. Right, so now you're aware that this still looks good. The risky thing is the 2-hour crosses down. So if the 30-minute at this point goes like this and shows me divergence here and that confirms, I'll be out. But if that would turn down that 2-hour and turn back up, I'll be right back in. Right, Microsoft is not a bad look. Same with Google. I don't think Google was a bad look, but it's failing at this moment. Do you see how those little 30-minute curl downs matter, especially when you're closer to the center line with something like Google compared to Microsoft? It's a lot different. This is a bad curl down. But are we making something little in here? Are we going to just turn right back up as we're still close to the center line? As of right now, I still like that test of 182.59. And if the 2-hour would cross, we can get past 182.59. We can go fill a gap and then see what happens later on. Right, we have built up a long time on this 2-hour that you could see a spike down, see a wick, and then create that little divergence for Google. Even though it already has it right now, it's only on the RSI, not on the MACD at the same time. So Microsoft has all the divergences, and that's why it looks pretty good on the 30-minute. Not bad. Apple pretty stagnant. Let's go look at Apple. Apple. Something key here, 30-minute, very, very key. You saw that 2-hour tried to cross down. Now you're getting this slight wave almost, like it's trying to curl up. Well, where would be a great spot to get to? We said 250. I still like 250. You know, from down here, what were we saying? We were saying if this here happens, I'm looking for this zone. Okay, if we create that shoulder that we forgot about, the forgotten right shoulder, it might be a little bit more complex like this one, right? Complex, okay. But we take back the 5, and from this point we said 250. So if we get that 30-minute to cross up, 250 could be there. I would seriously be watching out for divergence on the 30-minute from Apple, or just a good 2-hour confirmation below the 5. Good 2-hour completely closing bar below the 5, and I think you might go for that retest of this 240 area at least. That's what it looks like to me, but we might end up 30-minute, might end up to our target of 250 first, but great move, so good stuff. See, starting to see a little wick come in. GME's up 1%. Hey, let's go, GME. Curl up on that 30-minute, you dirty, dirty dog. Get out there. You go. You go, Mr. GameStop. You go, go, go. Let's go check on our buddy JP Morgan, because I'm already up 100% on my contracts. That's pretty crazy. Oh, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? Oh, that's pretty crazy. I don't have a weekly expected move for this, so this is risky. Yeah, Noah, thank you. Thank you for being patient, Noah. I really do appreciate that. I've been on a lot of tangents today because Twitter's been making me mad with how people talk about stuff, and they just throw out stuff. And the thing that annoys me the most is, you know, people get money from Kamala and Biden. They call it free money, free money, free money. We find waste and we say, hey, we want to give that wasted taxpayer money back to the taxpayer, and they are so against it. It's insane. And now they all want to talk about the debt ceiling. It's like, bruh. Bruh. What waste? $44 billion worth. I just think that's funny. I just think that's funny. But I would look internally and see what I'm wasting. Great stuff from JP Morgan. Looks like the daily has that crossed. It has, so I can hold on to that bad boy. But AMC not doing good. AMC turning down on a 2-hour, not a good sign. That means 2-hour pullback very likely. We're looking for this now. If that can form, that would be great. Yeah, perfect touch up here. So left head, can we get that right shoulder and just turn back up? That would be great. My man, Top Synopsis. Telling you, that thing was just screaming at me. It's just a great setup, and that's why I really wanted to talk about it. It's a great, great setup, and it does give some, like, hey, why is JP Morgan about to go through something bad? SPY 616 coming? Probably, weirdly enough. I don't know. I think this is a serious break, right? And then we got to see if that can build back up. Now you're looking, this has to swing back up down here for us to be able, this is just a bearish signal right now though. So I would not be sleeping on the fact that the 2 hours attempting to cross with this, and now you're below this. So you have to take that back. If you just run your head into it and fall again, it's still bad stuff. Why didn't he do Doge in the first term? Trump literally admitted in his first term he didn't know exactly how to do things, and he was kind of gridlocked by a lot of things. Everyone was just locking him down on everything. So this time around, you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference. It's like, we're gonna give everything we promised. That's what it seems like. 6:16 by 12 p.m.? No. I don't think so, JJ. But I'm not going to say it's impossible. You might be right. All right? I'll say you might be right. But right now you're losing the 5. That's just rough. I'm sorry, JJ. I'm sorry to say my opinion to you, but I hope I'm wrong and I hope your play goes well. I genuinely do. I'm having faith. Exactly. Yeah, I'm still wishing the best for you. Okay, JJ? But this is a breakdown with divergence, so you have to be aware that downside is, it's really pointing in that direction with the signals we have. Take a look at Baidu. Yeah, well, let's go look at Baidu. Baidu. Great. Not bad. Great reaction. Right? It's always great when you react to these levels. You have to just understand that that's gap resistance beginning. Okay, so this can be bad. You don't have reversal signals from the 30-minute, right? We don't see that. We have broken down pretty dramatically here. You're getting that wick to come in at the 5-day moving average as well. So if this wants to build up, it needs to do this. It might be very tight. It might not even curl down this because you don't want to curl it down. If you curl that down, you're probably taking out this low, going to make a new one. And then we'll watch out for divergence and things like that. But for the most part here, you're going, okay, if that wants to hold up without making divergence, it still needs to do something like this. I like that Wall Street Ponzi. I think that was good. Yeah, it's like, do you think when in Trump's first term he actually thought there was that much corruption, that much waste, that much fraud going on? Yeah, monumental. I think it's a good reaction. I just want to see what happens further and be aware that there's no divergence. But yeah, the first time around, if I come in and I go, I just, if I'm gridlocked and no one will work with me, gridlocked, and I also didn't know the extent to which things were, and now I do see that, and I have 4 years to make a plan for it because I didn't win the election. Then I win the election, I can put all those plans in. I don't think it's a bad thing. Now, our job as the people is to make sure he's doing what we want. And then our job as the people are making sure that what he is doing is still good for us. If something that we wanted turns out to be bad for us, we should be vocal about it. Head and shoulders on DAX. We have been paying attention to the DAX. I think it's been fun. For this, we were always worried about the DAX. Not necessarily from a strictly divergence, technical, whatever you want to say standpoint. Just flat 2-hour divergence said, that's all you got. So this 2-hour can swing up now. Right? So we want to look at this 30-minute. I know it's the DAX, but I'm going to look at the 30-minute here. Does this trade? It does have trades overnight, but we could see that next 30-minute swing up or 2-hour swing up is more what I'm thinking. So if this is going to break down, daily has to cross. If it's not going to cross, then this could just stop right here, turn right back up, get you nice and bullish, and then give you that. That would be nice. I'd be happy about that. Now I want to look at the 4-hour because I just looked at the numbers here. 4-hour flat divergence on the RSI, but not on the MACD at the same time. You notice the MACD at the same time caused a big gap down. It kind of looks similar to over here, so we'll see if it can build up, but this might need to go fill this gap first, then see that, maybe give you some kind of double top. I think that would be a nice way for the DAX to actually trick people and fall. But if the daily crosses over, we have to be reacting. We have to understand, if you're working with multiple time frames, you have to understand your plan and the confirmations that you're really looking for. Yeah, Lizard's like, he was a freshman, I forgive him. And then he came back. He came back as one of those college kids to prom with that 18-year-old hot chick. No, that's ew. One of the worst things you can see on a chart. You want a quick reversal or it could get bad. Hold on, where was Jagger was responding to Dubs. Is a death cross something to worry about? Mara getting close? I mean, yeah, it can be. I have about 600,000 invested with Elon Tesla. Hopefully he does good stuff with Doge. We want investors to like him or yeah, trust him. People do. Don't pay attention to the mainstream. Anyone, and I'm not saying this to offend anyone in chat, by the way. I'm just saying how it is. At least you are seeing someone try to expose government corruption in some way. Okay? You can't be against that. You just can't. Because that's what you should be doing as a regular person, right? You should always be trying to be critical of your government, and that's what Doge is doing. It's being very critical of how government spends money. I would like to see the proof, though. I would like to see hard data. Can I see that anywhere? Does anyone have that for me? It's 19 degrees in Texas. Motherfucker, Jagger, it is -3 degrees here. Don't start with that. Don't start with that. You know what? I'll play something for you. I'll play something for you here because this is what you should be feeling. This is what I think people should really be feeling right now. I think it's very easy.
It's my money and I need it now!
It's my money and I need it now!
It's my money and I need it now! It's my money and I need it now!
It's your money.
You get it? You get it? Do you get it? You get it? Okay, good. I'm glad everyone gets it. It's your frickin' money, okay? So for them to pay you back your money and to be upset about it, like, I get it if you're understanding the debt, but I highly doubt that these people who thought Biden was mentally capable of being president the last 4 years, I highly doubt those people really care too much or understand too much about debt, like the debt that we have. Exactly, and I think, Tina, I think you have a good way of getting at it, though. You're still saying the critical things. You're still saying the critical things. But it's funny to me that we want to be the most critical about government at a time where the administration is being the most critical about government. It's like we're being really, but I think it's good. I'm in Brainerd Springs, California. It's going to be 80 degrees today. Screw you, cuckoos. I don't like you anymore. You know what? I'm timing you out for 5 minutes. No, I'm just kidding, cuckoos. I'm not doing that to you. Come on now. Someone give me something fun to look at. What's fun out there? Someone. For instance, we're like-minded. I like it. Yeah, make those friendships. If anything, you know, you guys could, you know, maybe we should do that. Maybe I should open a Discord group that you guys can just be in and chat with each other. NQ curling up? Okay, first thing I'm going to check is the NQ because that had a great 2-hour pullback. And then I'm going to look at all of those, all right? So Holy crap, that's a lot. I don't know if I'll be able to look at all of them. NQ, okay, let's go look at this first. Let's look at these. First of all, 2 hour, need that to confirm up, or even better, a 4 hour to confirm up. Right, we are still below the 5-day at this moment. We have broken below this here. We have broken down to lower levels, but we have gotten that retest in this general area where you want to retest. Right, if we put a line on the bottom of this wick, we can see how support might be coming in, because this resistance, even this resistance here, it's probably a zone, right? But even this resistance here, we notice that a lot of the time bad things happen above this, right? Resistance, 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 resistance. Hey, but we broke above it, we held up well. Can we use it as support to head higher now? Right. So, and you do have a moment. People are still overall taking calls, though. A lot of calls, dollar dropping pretty dramatically, but what are we paying attention to for the dollar? And this is actually a great thing to be watching at this point. You end up with a lot of jokers and information being lost. Well, I was thinking of doing like a, you have to be invited by me. And it's not to pay, right? I think it would just be a free Discord where you guys can kind of hang out and things like that. Or we could even do times where we do almost like make a video one-on-one. I think that would be very cool. But I think it would be a great way to stay, like, if you guys want to stay together, post things together, show your plays, talk to each other. We could even make a voice comm thing, like for a group of 10 people to join, 10 people or something. I think it'd be fun for you guys. And then maybe I could join every once in a while. I don't want it to be something that I have to manage a lot because my time is so screwed. It's insane. Gone south lately, so I have a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, I feel you, Richard. I don't want it to be open. I want it to be like, I'm almost thinking like if I made a Discord, and we're going to talk about this is why we're on the dollar, but if I made a Discord, I kind of want it to be like, I'll give you a Discord link if you join the Patreon for a month or something like that. And then you can just join and you can just discuss things with people, right? It's not a place where I'm going to post plays and things like that. It's not going to be one of those. I'm not lottery stocks. I'm not a guy. Okay, let's talk about the dollar, though, because this is something we mentioned last night, and it's playing out. Isn't this great? Yeah, and it's open discussion, right? So, I don't want anyone to, ultimately, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to speak freely. And if that offends you, unfortunate, don't care. Yeah, be a grown-up and have a discussion. I think that's perfectly fine to do on YouTube. You know what I mean, Tina? That's all. But the dollar, we talked about this last night, how it looked very, very flaggy, and this could drop down to our point, right? We want to see if this gets here. It could go past that, but we want to see if this creates a 4-hour divergence. Once that divergence shows up and the dollar starts to get a reaction, I think you're very, very close to a market top. Let me just put it that way. In some way, it could be a corrective top. Sorry, not sorry, says Richard. The next lotto stock, that's me. All right, let's go look at some, what are some penny stocks or something? No. I'm gonna look at some of these for you guys. The first one I do see is Alibaba. Alibaba just got shit talked real hard by Donald Trump, actually. No, that was Boeing. Boeing got shit talked by Trump really bad. So I might go check on that. But Baba doing good things. And a lot of people have been talking about the Chinese market and how, I think I saw this in a video like maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, but someone was showing the short volume for the Chinese market, and if this is the center line, well, then it was down here for a while. Now it's spiked up to here, and it's been sitting there, and now you're seeing these good reactions, so it could be a contrarian indication that a lot of people are short the Chinese market. Might need to check like Hang Seng, something like that, but that's kind of what people are reading into. Do I want to be in Baba now? Like, do I want to start a position now? Most likely not. I mean, I see this daily. I see it skying up there, and I go, where's the better opportunity? Well, the better opportunity would be this right here is like buying here. I think, or it could potentially be like buying here, but you don't know if that's going to keep happening. But as you're getting taken outside, you have to think you might be here, and so you're looking for something like this that then can curl back up. I think you're looking for a few gap fills here that then curls back up on the daily. That would really get this MACD down by that center line and then curl up into positive territory for a very simple swing trade. You don't have divergence at the high or anything like that. Okay? So at this high, you don't see that divergence at all. We don't see divergence at all. At the lows, you saw those divergences, right? That's what triggered this. Do you see those? Bam, 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 go. That's your go sign right there. Could have been in it. Now, for the time being, though, is this a great time right now? No, I think you need to wait. Even if this goes higher, you're still waiting for that to actually be a good opportunity, right? If you start to ignore price, ignoring price, I don't care if this even goes to, watch this. Even if from right here, I don't care. I'm making good decisions. If Baba wanted to see some crazy move and go up to 240, 250 in the next 2 weeks, I still would say it's still not giving me that opportunity on the daily scale. But if it would curl down up here and retest 200 and then curl up, that might be an opportunity to see a run to a little bit higher level. It's about decision making, and if I continue to make this decision, most of the time it will end with me wrong. But understanding that that can go higher is perfectly fine, but I'm still looking for the opportunity. So Baba is interesting. Baba is a great move. Baba can continue to see positivity. Baba most likely on the monthly looks pretty juicy here too. But Baba turned up on the monthly, won't call it rejection, but we will say, hey, it took it back down in here. Okay, this is already crossed up. If I wanted to take it because it's been volatile, then we end in the upward direction, maybe divergence at the low on the weekly, right? But for the time being, this might be one of those times where in the beginning of next month, you see this wick down, right? And then it starts to wick back up. And that's all you're looking for. You're looking for that wick down in the daily chart, right? The monthly chart would be a daily downturn, monthly wick, and then you curl back up. You want not a failure like this time, but if anything, it's like buying here. And even if that is a prolonged pullback, you're still waiting for that to potentially go to the upside, right? Cross back up, get back on the 200, come back down, never crossed down and kept going. Then it crossed down, crossed back up in positive territory. And once you're actually in positive territory, you see the big move. That's great. But the decision making here is the most likely thing is you're going to experience some kind of pullback soon on the daily scale. If it wants to take off, cool. But I'm not going to make bad decisions. Even if I make a bad decision, it ends up being a good one, quote unquote, good one. If it convinces me to continue to do that over time, I'm going to lose. All right. That's how I like to look into it. Let me go look at some more. Spot is another one that I see. Spotify. Spotify, same scenario, almost the same scenario. Now this one more so with the structure of the top, you see that it's able to hold up. So I want to look at a 2 hour and notice that the 2 hours by the center line. So if the daily crosses down, you're probably getting a daily pullback. If the 2 hour crosses up, that will be one more move. And then I'd watch out for divergence in case that daily pullback is coming. Spot actually has a good chance if it curls up to give you a potential short opportunity. We'll see what happens with it. I already did affirm towards the beginning of this video if you'd like to go check on it. Siri, 2 hour divergence, very blatant 2 hour divergence, okay? Very blatant, just right there. You can see that right away. I can say it before the MACD even pops up because I'm pretty confident it's there if I see behavior like this. 2 hour divergence on the RSI, 2 hour divergence on the MACD at the same time. Big move down to where we could catch a bounce. If that bounce does not curl up this 2 hour and we don't take out this high, then you're not going higher. You're going to see maybe a 30-minute bounce that takes you lower. All right? We can see that very plain and simple. All right? Cool. Now we want to see if this is curled down a daily chart. All right, so this still has, as the daily chart has not curled down, you still want to be very aware if that 2 hour curls up, because if that 2 hour curls up to here, you're probably taking out the high, maybe even going to make a new one. right? You're going to test this, maybe go make a new one. And this is not a bad area to do this. This would be fine to get to here and then see that bigger drop and then see that curl back up. Why? It could even be deeper, right? Depends on what we're going to do. Are we going to do this? Or are we going to see that go up? Maybe, right? We got to see if that 2-hour curls up. But we got to see if that comes all the way down to something like 2250 before it curls up. Because if this is going to be that shoulder, if it's going to be deeper, just be aware of that. But Siri's given great signals, man. Siri's given some good signals over these last few trades. It really has, okay? Let's really look at these from the past for a second and just go, wow, 2-hour divergence, probably 4-hour would have cleared that up for you, and then boom, awesome. No divergence at the high here, very interesting, and then just vomits, just totally vomits there. Then you see something carve out here, probably again, the 2-hour chart most likely better here, but then you see the high and you see that divergence and you go, okay, so this should head down, and it's heading down. So really the play is here, the play is here, the play is here. And this one already probably printed 100% for you, so. Meanwhile, sorry, I gotta go check on this because I'm noticing I'm up a lot now. There you go. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna keep looking at some other stuff real quick. Rebin, Reborn Coffee, okay. 2-hour scale. Immediately, I don't hate this because it's pretty extended. Right, I still want to be aware if that 2-hour crosses down. That could be a cheeky 2-hour divergence. I need to actually see if it pops up on a 4. So if the 4 crossed, I'd be more worried that you're going to see a bigger daily pullback. And I think that's what you're going to get. Now notice the difference here between some stuff we just looked at, right? Spot, Siri, all those things are a little bit different because you actually see that divergence displayed in front of you pretty clearly on the daily scale. So that means that we could potentially see some bad things happen. And this actually can end up testing down towards $2 again if this all plays out. Now, I want to be very clear. This is all pointing in the upward direction. These have not confirmed any divergence. Even if you wanted to take into consideration the 2-hour, you're not making that divergence, right? So if this thing's going to keep taking off, hey, then keep taking off, dude. Never curl down on a 2-hour. Never make a 30-minute divergence in here, which I don't think you have one right now. Oh, you actually do. You have 30-minute divergence right here. I really want to violate this point, but if Reborn Coffee starts to get some bad things right now, then I'd be a little more worried. If this can continue and wipe out these divergences, then it can continue some upside. So now you know some things to react to. All right, sorry, I'm not reading chat right now. I'm trying to get through some names here. I wanted to look at some stocks for people. So STAI, Scantech AI Systems, very, very good. Steep 30-minute divergence. If this crosses down, you have to be aware of it. It's a big move up. That means a big move down can come. That means a big 2-hour pullback can come. I think, let's see. There's a gap here. I would say 270 is the first point I'm watching. And then the last thing I'm watching for bullishness would be $2. If we lose $2, I'm worried. So if this 2-hour can bring you down to something like, you know, $3 or even down to $2.50, I think that'd be good. Curl back up, right? If that goes deeper, you start to get a little more worried, but you're kind of looking at that $2. If we start to lose $2, I'm very worried that you're going to go lower. Let me keep looking here. LLY. Okay, so for Lilly & Co., we have a 2-hour that has curled down. We see the little microstructure right here, right? We see the left, we see the head, we see possibly a right shoulder forming, maybe more time in it, but the 2-hour is able to confirm up. This just looks like a 2-hour pullback that's curling to the upside. I would just say this is a bullish signal. This means positivity is very likely here. We are likely to test this high, take it out. I would watch out for traps above 892.51. I would watch for traps up here, and hopefully you have a weekly range, because if this would take place, you'll have that divergence point really close to the center line. So just be cautious with it. But overall, this is bullish. I'm just giving you the way that it would trick you. If that divergence isn't there and it just wipes it out, hey, it's going to continue that positivity. Not bad, but you got to be paying attention to the 2 hour here if it makes that divergence. We do see a daily that's up there, up there, up there. It can continue to be up there, but you're going into some liquidity. You're running into a wall here. And then if that daily curls down, well, you have a daily pullback, which means you're not going to see some kind of little pullback like this or like this, right? You're more so going to see something probably to come all the way down to $800 again. And then we'll see if it can create structure. That would be great. So yeah, there's a lot of options here, but for the time being, the main thing is the 2 hours crossed up. Right? If that prints in 43 minutes, then it's very likely you're going to see higher prices, a test of the high, or even a new one, and then you watch out for divergence. All right, let's go look at, is it XOS? Is that what you want to look at, Mr. Pickles? Sorry, we're getting through them. We're getting through them. Oh, okay. Mr. Pickles, please tell us about this yesterday. Coulter, thank you so much for subscribing, and I'm just saying, tell us about this yesterday. No. For this, let's see a daily, because this is going to be wonky. Daily divergence, look at that. What pops up at the low? Daily divergence. Now, this was complex. It's very difficult. But if you have the balls to take it, you're happy with it now, and that's it. What the heck is XOS? Let's see. Consumer durables, motor vehicles. Is this a short squeeze? Like, what the heck is going on? I don't see any activity there. That's super interesting. Tops and Osses, thank you so much for the $1.99. And I don't know which chart was yours. I'm just trying to get through them, but thank you so much for the $2 or $1.99. No, I can't give you the $2. You are 1 cent off. Yeah, so I don't see that here. So that's very interesting. So looking at this, I mean, is there a way to trade this right now? Probably not. No, unless you just jumped on it early, which I'm assuming a lot of people tried to fade it. I think this is good. You can't say to me that this is bad. You have weekly, you have some weekly divergence in the near term that's not on the RSI at the same time. But yeah, if this thing wants to go for a run, hey, that's great. A lot of these runs do fail, so just be paying attention if it curls back down. Hopefully this can take you positive, and that would lead me to believe you're going to see at least a move probably to retest a breakdown area. $50. I like $50. I'm going to mark that. 51.36. I like that level a lot. Another level to watch is, well, let's take it on the way up, right? You have a bunch of levels to watch. This, $15. And then this right here. Those are your 3 levels to really watch for on the way up. If you can continue to take out those levels, you can continue to see positivity. That's how I see it right now. Grab. Let's go look at Grab. We did look at this, I believe, yesterday. Grab, you can see, well, from the weekly scale, you're kind of seeing, oh, this might have more of a pullback to do at this moment. So let's look at this backwards now, daily chart. Daily chart crosses down, bad things, right? You're starting to look like, okay, 1, maybe 2, okay, 3. So we still like that 372. I think maybe we just go a little lower than this low and then we hold up, but we'll see. As of right now, the 2 hour is showing divergence on the RSI, not the MACD at the same time. So be willing, be open to the 2 hour turning back up. But I think it's very likely with how aggressive this is that the daily could cross down. You're ending up at lower prices. You really wanted to react. Actually, you reacted to a good level. I'm going to take that back. You reacted to a good level. So if that 2 hour can turn up, you've got a lot of space in here. A lot of space in here that could end up going like this, and you might end up towards 650 or something. So interesting look. I like it. I think you just need to see price action. As of right now, the price action's trying to turn down. So you want to see if that can react back up, and then the stock will be with you. But this is kind of bad too. The earnings for Grab. If earnings is here, it's just not the best thing, right? It's 50-50 flip if earnings is there. People still very bullish. Everyone trying to buy calls on the dip. Very interesting to me to see reversal signals, see them proving, and then try to take calls. That's just not how I like to do things. Cruise stocks are sinking, not a good sign. Travel will be very interesting to look into soon. And that's the thing. It's like if people get that 5K, are they just going to use it on travel? I don't know. A lot of plane crashes, guys. I don't think I'm going to get on a plane for a little bit of time. Coinbase is dying. That's interesting. Coinbase dying off because Bitcoin looks so... Actually, hold on. I need to go check on Bitcoin. Has that signal been holding? Oh, shit. It's not going to hold. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's not holding. So 2-hour cross is down. Negativity initially. You did react to a great level, so this is still good. But if you cross through the center line and you're not able to turn up pretty quickly, I'm pretty unhappy with Bitcoin, which now makes sense when you bring up coin. Okay, so let's look at coin. Coin, no real big reversal signals. Daily chart, though. Daily chart still pointing down for coin. Not a good look for coin right now. Weekly crossed with divergence on coin, so you got to treat this very carefully. This says right now coin is at risk, just like Nvidia, coin is at risk of turning down a monthly chart. Coin's at risk here. Now, if Bitcoin can see some buyers come in and coin flips back around, awesome, that's great. But Nvidia's at that risk too. Okay, I know it's seeing positivity right now, but that's weekly divergence. And so if we want to head in the upward direction for a few weeks, Nvidia's got to catch a bid still and curl up this weekly chart. Earnings might be important for that. But I know I bounced over to Nvidia after looking at something else, but I just wanted to show you, like, weekly divergences are here on some big stocks. Good stuff. I liked all that. That was fun. Wow, I'm up 200% on JP Morgan. The fuck? And then I'm gonna look at volatility again, probably. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, keep going, JP Morgan. I'm down. That's cool. Good trade. Silver, interesting. I think silver, we were bullish on silver for a while. I haven't looked at it in the last few days. So I'll go look. Daily hasn't crossed up yet, but we are taking back the 200. This is what you need to be worrying about. This is worrisome. Now, we got to make sure that these things remain, right? We have to make sure these things are continuing because we need that cross above the MACD, right? We don't want this to fail. VIX call options going to the moon. JP Morgan put options going to the moon, my dude, at 230% now. JP Morgan is cooked. Let's see, 2 hours. So 2 hour crossing down is the main thing to watch. If we're just going to see a trap, like a bear trap, then the 2 hour crosses down. 30-minute, if that crosses down, I'm not worried about it. And you're not even overbought yet. Very interesting. Not even overbought readings yet for VIX. I'm still looking if we're going to get that retest. What that would look like is potentially a retest of a daily expected move. Okay, we'll see what happens. Kung Fu Panda? Ah, shit. What did I say? Oh, goodness. I ended up getting 265 for March 21st. I took it pretty quick. I didn't want to make a load of money, but I have the 7th actually. I took the 7th for 265. Yeah. This one I just decided to because it allowed me to have lower money and I was pretty confident in it. It had great signals. Wonder why the market dropped hard today? Because there's a 30-minute divergence and I don't care. The market dropped today because there's a 30-minute divergence. The buying got weak because no big money wanted to keep buying. And then it sold off and people sold off. So that's it. And we had a small range. We had a lot of hints of downward price action today. That's why it happened, right? In my book, there's a 30-minute divergence and it's playing out. And that's why it happened to me. Momentum died off to the upside. So this could just be a pullback at the end of the day too. We'll still be watching it. Well, a good short right now, I'd be potentially looking at things like Apple, seeing if we do get that reaction from the SPY to go retest the daily while Apple maybe reaches up into the zone and creates that divergence. I think Apple would be the one that if I'm behind, I might be looking at Apple. Another one would be, I don't think I would say Microsoft's in a good spot for it. Gold might be interesting. GLD, I've been thinking for a while now that this thing needs to vomit. I actually want to look at futures on a 4 hour. Yeah, do you see this? Do you see why I'm worried about gold now? Healthy correction. I mean, it could just be a pullback. It might not even be correction yet. We don't know. We haven't taken out lows. Gold, I'm a little bit worried about. We've seen volatility start to come into gold a little bit. We're starting to make this up in here. We're starting to see that 4 hour get close to the center line, holding the divergence point. So be very cautious on gold. But if I was looking at something to short, I mean, gold's very difficult to short because it's very, very good right now. It's very good right now. But you see this daily chart way up there and you go, hey, I finally have a signal. Notice it makes a lot of signals, okay? So don't think that this has to be the crash moment for gold. This could just be a reaction that then turns back up. But we have reversal signals in here now. You have a 4 hour, if that crosses bad, 2 hours showing some divergence here. You can see that in the near price action. So gold is actually saying I might be an opportunity to short right now. And then you just be confident managing your trade. Have your plan, you know, you can do it before you even take it, right? Be like, okay, it's pretty quick, right? If I know that this is futures, if I take a 2 hour divergence signal with a 4 hour behind it, I'm holding that 2 hour, I'm taking it based on that, and then I'm looking for the 4 hour to confirm. Okay, awesome. If that confirms, then I can just manage my trade based on a 2 hour chart, right? If the 4 hour confirms, I can manage my trade if this 2 hour turns back up. Okay, awesome. That's what I know so far. Now, if this 2 hour, if that 4 hour is not able to cross, how would I want to react? Well, I might want to go a little bit closer, look into an hourly, and if that crosses up, I think the 2 hour is pretty likely to curl up, so I need to get out of that or else I could get hurt. Okay, now I'm pretty comfortable shorting it. Okay, awesome. Right, do you see how I do that? Do you see how I formulate a very quick plan? And then I can take the trade and then I can write that kind of stuff down, right? Okay, so now I know if I'm going to take this on gold, then I need to have a 2 hour divergence play. So an hourly crosses up, okay, I need to be paying attention. Okay, if the 4 hour crosses down, I can be more confident with my trade and then switch to managing my trade on a 2 hour. USD JPY. Oh, Sean, we've been looking at it, my friend. We've been looking at JPY USD, but you know, whatever. That thing climbing. And I think that no one was watching this, and we were aware of this over the weekend. Isn't that awesome? We were aware of this over the weekend. Isn't that great? Bruh, JP Morgan. This is the yen carry trade, you guys, if this this can cause some selling in the market. JP Morgan, let's go take a peek again. Great downward move. Weekly really high up. Weekly divergence is there. It's just it's violated a lot of divergence. So I do think JP Morgan could make another upward move after a correction. A daily pullback more so, but I'll call it a correction. I think you're either pulling back to here or here or here. Those are the three levels I'm watching. I will potentially be taking profit here, looking for that to bounce, then maybe adding another position here to then go down to here. Then I'm going to potentially take profit. I'm going to make weekly expected moves for JP Morgan. If you are part of the Patreon, I will put those. I will put JP Morgan on the updated list for Sunday. And for Friday, we'll give you a daily expected move for Friday as well. For JP Morgan, which comes out tonight. Now, someone did mention something. UVXY was a buy now. That's potential. That's potential because you're going against the SPY, and the SPY has just confirmed today the 30-minute. So something I'd probably like to do is take a longer out option and understand I'm potentially taking this 2 hour pullback. I don't know if it's the best time, but I don't think it's a bad time, right? There's no way that this is a bad time, right? You see that rejecting, like really going positive now. I don't think this is a bad time, but it is a time where if it curls down, you want to be quick with it, and then curls back up, you want to be quick with it. right? Trading like water. Because when you look at these type of plays, you need the SPY to come down for this to go up. So your play might not be right here. It could be if you want, maybe, but I would say the play to go short would be after seeing if this can curl up or get some kind of retest. So I'd be probably at like a 15-minute chart and looking for, hey, do we get that to react up and then fail? And if that fails, that's potentially when I'd make a decision with volatility. For the time being. Silver, SLV, let's look at SLV real quick. Silver, very interesting to me. 2-hour divergence is here. Okay, so we were pretty bullish on silver from the double bottom. And then we saw that continued positivity. Nice flag, saw that positivity. Nice triangle, nice wedge, saw that positivity. Now you see this. Okay, now the pullback might be here on the daily scale. All right, the daily scale is up there. It could still go higher. It's not overbought, but a retest up in here, a go fill a gap down in here, that can all take place, and you have the 2-hour divergence to back you right now. So if this 2-hour does cross, I think you might be getting a decent pullback at least to 28.83 before you catch a bounce and make like a head and shoulders if you want to head lower. If you want to head higher, then the 2-hour's got to curl back up. Yeah, I think silver's starting to run into somewhat of a wall, and then you see the reversal signals from gold at the same time. And then you see the dollar potentially creating reversal signals down by our point here on the 4-hour chart. So if the dollar goes up, usually gold doesn't like that. BlackBerry pulling back. BlackBerry pulling back. Okay, great. You see the like you just see this stuff, right? You see the 2-hour, you see it, right? That's just so blatant. It's still high up. So yes, this can be aggressive, but it could only be aggressive to 525. You could see a few bars there and then it curls back up. Now, the way you know that this is probably going to drop further, maybe down to 450 or something like that, is if the daily can cross. If the daily does cross, then this makes a lot of sense. Even this would make a lot of sense, okay? So you do have a signal that suggests that that is very possible for the daily to cross. So I'm going, okay, I'm short, maybe looking for a bounce here. Looking for the bounce here, if that can go like this and just give us that little lip, right? Give us that little lip almost to make like a head and shoulders almost. That would be great to head further down. Yeah, I'm guessing that you want BB to go in the upward direction. If you want it to head up, then you need this 2-hour, whenever it gets by that center line, to curl up. You need this to get here and maybe curl up. Take out these levels. Take out the divergences. That's what you need from BB. Yeah, 104 is pretty much my level as well. Oscar, just so you're aware for the dollar. Oh, sorry, you said 104. Mine's about 106. 0.49, but I do have another level below at 105.65. The reason I'm going to pay attention now, Oscar, I don't care about this line even. I really don't, right? I could delete that line and not give two shits. I really could, because I'm paying attention to when my MACD is telling me to pay attention. And I think now's telling me, hey, watch this over the next couple of days, because we could head lower, but if I hold up here, ooh, that is a daily reversal signal. And we've always been waiting for what? The daily to cross back up for the dollar. We're seeing reversal signals from gold. We're seeing reversal signals from silver, which usually means dollar's probably going to move in the opposite direction of them. So if they pull back, dollar might catch some ground. Yeah, Oscar. But if you like that level of 104, it's fine. And I'm just talking to you one-to-one pretty much. But if you like a level, that's fine. If you see signals before that level, be open to it, right? We are not magicians who can pick out a random number out of a chart and go, yes, that's definitely where it's going 100%. No. So just be willing to react is all I'm saying. Tesla cited for violating workplace safety rules after contractor's death. Robot went nuts? Uh-oh. iRobot? Oh no. What'd that do for Tesla? Did they not like that? They probably didn't like that too much. Yeah. And do you see how our line becomes important again, right? Our line at 357.78, it will show itself as important. It's an important level. What do we see here? Well, let's go see if there's anything. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nothing on the RSI. Flatness on the MACD. This might be a fake out. We'll see. But if it is a fake out, then this 30 minutes going to cross back up. If it's not a fake out, then this 2 hour is going to cross down. You're going to lower prices. And I think 310 might be the test. We get to 310, see if we can make that divergence, and then we get the reaction up. Right? What that would look like on your MACD, hey, we pull down like this, then we curl back up. Then you make that divergence point. If it's on the RSI at the same time, I'll say, hey, everyone's going to say, you know, potential for head and shoulders maybe, or cup in hand, whatever they want to say. That's fine. I see divergence at a key level. That can turn up the daily. The positioning of the daily is very, very deep. So that tells me if this all happens, a lower high is still the most likely scenario. Even though I'm sure everyone will be like, you know, oh, we're using this, maybe it's this. I'm going to be like, okay, well, if I see a reversal signal, then it's probably going to be bigger, and maybe we're doing that later. All right, let's go look at SPY. Where is SPY going, in my opinion? In my opinion now, did the 2 hour cross. If the 2 hour cross is in 23 minutes, I'll still pay attention to this. Does that 30-minute curl up? But as of right now, everything is pointing down, suggesting that 602.09 would be the level. Some 50 sick. Let's go. Let's go, Bexon. Hey, thank you for the donation, Bexon. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for all the daily doses of WBA. Let's go look at it. Can we have a daily dose now? That's right. Yes, we can, Bexon. Let's go look at it. Thank you for donating. So yeah, I think downside weekly expected move makes the most sense with the price action that we have right now. That's it. WBA, good curl up, great move to the upside. 2 hour divergence, correct? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2 hour divergence. Okay, awesome. On the RSI at the same time, kind of flat there, but up on the MACD, very good signal still. If one of them's flat and the other one's not, that's still a pretty damn good signal. What are you reacting to? Right where you kind of expect that resistance to be, right? Support, support, big gaps. You know that this whole area is pretty important, and we go to that whole area, so that's great. Now what do we want to see? Well, we want to see this. This is great. That's what you want to see. The 30-minute, able to move sideways, able to get down by that center line, and guess what? This goes bloop, and then crosses through here. You're probably heading higher. Now, you might not head that much higher. It might be like 1160. 1163. It might be a little higher than that, something like 1188, right? And then we can see that bigger pullback that then curls up into positive territory, right? So what I think is going on here as the price action stands is this looks a pullback with time. This curls up on this MACD, then I know I can react in some way because that's potentially going to go up. Then I see this 2 hour that starts to get overbought. It's overbought again. If this is going to fail, then the 2 hour crosses down. But if this is going to go higher up, okay, then go higher up, then get that pullback, then curl up, and then you'll have this. That's how this goes to the upside, in my opinion. That's what I'm seeing in front of me right now. But I'm aware how that can go wrong is the 2 hours able to cross. And I'd say I'd be more worried about that as the 30-minute crosses the center line. That's when I'd start to be worried. Or if we lose the 5-day moving average. Which if you guys have the course, the 5-day moving average, we put that video up on the course just so you are aware. If you want to go check that out in the additional section, it's right. If you already have the course and I add something to it, you don't pay extra, you get it, right? You paid for it, you get it. So anytime I add to it, you get it. And the 5-day, how to get that on your chart is the focus there, and then just looking for those little reactions. It's just a good guideline is overall what I'm saying in the video. But how to get it on your chart is up on the course now in the additional content section at the bottom of the course. We did look at STAI. We'll just give it a quick peek again. Let's give it a quick peek again. It looks great. There's only one thing, and that's the 30-minute divergence, and that's it. But if that can wipe this out, or I would say more important on the RSI to wipe it out, by the way, not necessarily the MACD, but wipe this out, wipe that out. Get a strong move. Get this to continue to $6, and you're probably wiping out both of these, okay? So if we can continue to $6, that would be fan-freaking-tastic. If we're not going to continue to $6 and this starts to roll and you see this cross down, it will be the confirmation of divergence on your MACD, triple divergence on your RSI. Okay? So now you're aware of both sides and you're ready to react, and that's it. Right? You got to make decisions. It's all decision making. Forgot how to log into the course. Just go to teachable.com and hit login and just try to do your thing. Like try your email and things like that. We can work on it later, Bernie, if you need to. Next discount later this year. Awesome, Oscar. Hey, that's great. Right? In due time. In due time. Yeah, Bernie, give it a try. Just go to teachable.com and just try to log in, and then your courses that you bought should be with that account that you're logged into. Not just mine, right? You can take any course that there's cooking courses. There's all kinds of stuff on Teachable. It's great. Can we check the Qs? Oh, let's check the Qs. Qs right now in a little bit better spot, building some liquidity before something might happen, right? We still are technically outside of our 68% zone right now, so let's just be open to the 30-minute curling back up, okay? Do we see anything from the 5-minute to help us out? Ooh, we actually do. We get a tiny little divergence here from the 5 minutes suggesting, hey, we can start to head to that upside. We can try to reverse this thing around, guys. Let's try to do it. Yeah, it's just if that fails, right? If the 5-minute curls back down, then it's not the moment. But you do have 5-minute divergence now, so we'll see if we get some kind of 30-minute reaction. But yeah, you have extremely, so we talked about this a little bit, Bowdy, over last night, how you have an extremely small range. Extremely small range. And so on these days, you're supposed to see nothing, but you usually end up seeing crazy things. It's actually a great day to potentially make money if you're just someone who says, hey, everyone's not seeing any risk. I think it'll be a little riskier, and you're right. You can make really good money because no one's expecting it. Probably why JP Morgan looks pretty nice. Almost up 300% now. What the heck is JP Morgan was just one of my best calls of 2025. One of my, probably the best call of 2025 might be that trade right there. SMCI, what's that guy doing? Not good things. But the 30 minutes just pulling back, right? I don't see big reversal. I do see divergence across. If it's on the 2-hour, we'll watch it. But I think this is most likely just going to be either one more 30-minute move higher and then a 2-hour pullback, or a 2-hour pullback right now. I'm kind of leaning towards 2-hour pullback right now, by the way. Yeah, Bowdy, I appreciate you asking. Yeah, I think SMCI might be in a little bit of trouble. Not necessarily like super bearish, just it's been moving pretty volatile, I would say. At times, right here a little less, but here more. Yeah, so I would say 2-hour pullback looks the most likely for SMCI. You could see one more 30-minute move higher first. Grabbed a little move after that rejection of the daily low. Let's go. Could you please upload the videos on Patreon before market close, if possible? Upload the videos on Patreon before market close. When I do put out an update for Patreon, I do it during market hours. I do it during market hours. And then the 5-day moving average video is already up on the course. But to Patreon, I always make the Patreon update videos during market hours. So yesterday, I think I made that at like 11 a.m. my time. Scalp what you can, Coulter, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I hear you. I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of scalpers might be jumping on this saying, hey, I'm looking for that reaction to maybe fill the gap or something like that, right? People might be doing this. 9 days is simple. 9 days is simple. So the only exponential is the 20. Let's do this. The SMA, I have an SMA 50. We just don't have it up right now. And then the EMA is the 20 in yellow. I've just used it that way forever. I'm just being genuine with that. Ever since I started using, moving averages, I just used this indicator the whole time. And so I've built a lot around it. Damn, I saw it after market close, so missed the JPM warning. Sorry, brother. No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know if we talked about it on Patreon. We talked about it during the live show, JP Morgan. Right? We talked about it during the live show. And I kept saying multiple times, I was like, damn, this is a great thing. This is a great thing. I'm going to look at this. I'm looking at this expiration, right? I was really talking about it a lot. I don't know if we said it to Patreon exactly, but your 9-day is always lower than your 5. Well, most of the time, I'm sorry, I'm a little baffled by that for a second. Most of the time, you're going to see a 5-day be able to hold price tighter. So a 9-day will be below your 5-day, just like a 20 is most of the time. In an uptrend, the 20 is most of the time below the 9-day. Just like the 200, right? Let's just take it very drastically. When you're in an uptrend, the 200 is always below all of the moving averages. When you're in a downtrend, right, when you're seeing some fluctuation, it's always above all the moving averages. That's why people really like the 200. It's a very simple thing. It's like, hey, if we're above the 200 and I see swing ups, I'm taking those swing ups because we're above the 200, right? So the fact that your 5 is always above your 9, wait, let me see. Let me read this again. My 9-day is always lower than the 5. That makes a lot of sense because we're in an uptrend. Now, on shorter time frames, it might be wonky, but you'll see here, once we go into that uptrend move, it'll quickly take it back. The 5 will quickly go above it. When we go below it, hey, now the 5's below it. Now the 5's above it. So it's probably a good indication of like, hey, which way is that 5 trend going when it crosses? So we could probably look into that now and say, is the 5 crossing the 9? Right? A lot of people with Bollinger Bands, I think it is, they believe if the 5 crosses the 20, then you are very likely to be seeing already or going to see a test of bottom Bollinger, and the opposite can be true as well. So they would say that this cross right here on this bar said you're either testing it or going to go touch it, and then you went and touched it while also testing it. So I don't think it's the best thing for a trade setup, but yeah, it makes sense that your 9 is most of the time below your 5 if you're in an uptrend. Correct, it's called a necktie. There you go. Okay, cool. There's a name for it. Yeah, I don't have the best memory in the world with names and stuff. Like, I tried for like a full year to memorize. I'm terrible at memorization. But I tried for like a full year to memorize like, oh, candlesticks in the form of a, like, what's this candlestick? What's this candlestick? What's this candlestick? And I was just like, all right, 1, I can barely remember. There's too many to count. And then 2, is it actually helping my trading? Nope, it's not. So if it wasn't helping my trading, then I just start to forget about it. I called my kids the wrong name yesterday. Sometimes I call my wife my kid's name, and I call my kid my wife's name, and I'm like, that's not right. You can help moderate it? Maybe we'll do it, Samurai. We'll think about it. We'll think about it. We'll think about it in 2025. We'll see. We are officially up 300% on JP Morgan. Man, do I think this flushing is going to stop eventually? Holy crap, dude. That doesn't look like it's stopping, guys. Wow. I call my wife my dog's name. Oh, what was it? I saw a really funny joke. It was a dad joke, of course. What the heck was it? Oh, God, I wish I could remember the dad joke. It's so funny. Oh, God dang it. No, I need to find it. I have to find it. I'm leaving you guys on the spot, and I'm going to find it. I know. What was it? It was like... Come on. Oh, God, I'm gonna have to look on Twitter. See if I can find it. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Dang it, guys! I'm pissed. Showed it to my wife though, and she laughed. I was like, nice. You know, you always love when you steal a joke from the internet and make your wife laugh. It's always a good time. Always a good time. Wow, volatility still going. All right, 10:20. We gotta start looking at potentially hopping off this thing. Yeah, it's about that time. All right, let me see what you guys are chatting about. It you use this spread. XLF crossed the lower weekly expected. Very nice. So you have a weekly expected move for XLF. I'm really working on potentially doing something like this where we have the indices just in general, like XLF and all those, the sectors, really pin down and give you those weekly expected moves on Patreon. I think that's the best way to do it. But this is something we were worried about. Okay, we were talking about XLF this week, talking about if that 2-hour cross down, that's not a good sign. You're going to need this thing to flip around aggressively. You're going to need some good news now. This is bad. This is bad price action, right? This is selling price action. So you're going to need potentially some good news or a big buyer to step in to save this. As of right now, you can use any of this as rejection. We have broken the low, right? This was our higher low, and we broke that. So what should we be looking for? Lower highs. We potentially should be looking for lower highs all the time. Thoughts on GME. I'll do my thoughts on GME and then I'll have to take off. My thoughts on GME now. I don't like this 30-minute anymore. I really like the hourly again. Right? Now, we were talking about this. Still a higher low, still a higher low, still a potential higher low. If that hourly can curl up, but we did notice the divergence, right? We noticed that divergence there. So we should be very open to a 2-hour crossing down. Now, this is one thing as well. This is why I'm watching an hourly. If the hourly curls up, the 2-hour has a good chance to turn back up again. So what I don't want to happen is I don't want this to keep selling to where the daily crosses down and we end up going to fill this gap. Now, that could be fine. We could make a divergence. That would be great. But for GameStop to go positive, like say next week, like right away, I think you need an hourly to curl up. I think this hourly needs to curl up and you have a shot that tomorrow you could see something crazy. And if you do see something crazy and you close out here, yeah, it might be go time. Bros. Let's look at bros for Tony. Dutch bros. Very nice. Okay. I don't hate the fact that you're going like, hey, what do you think? Is this short? It's just one thing I would like as well is if I'm going to take that, understand that I'm in a range. Right? Very blatantly in a range. So I'd probably with this type of one, since it just looks like, hey, it could get a reaction. It saw a very big spike during earnings. Okay, so just in case one of those spikes come in again, I actually would utilize a stop at this high. But for the time being, if that 30-minute never crosses up, the 2-hour is crossing down. So pullback looks like the scenario. What if you go fill that gap? I think that's a little bit greedy to say you're going to fill a gap. What I would say is this 2-hour just crossed. I can do something very, very strategic here with bros. One, I have my risk, right? And I have my reward potential. But if I want a very obvious thing of where the options market is telling me where this could go, okay, maybe this closes, let's just say it closes here. And let's say next week I have a weekly expected move of this and this. And then we see price get down to here. What would I do? I'd take profit. Because that's where you're probably going to take a bounce. Right? And this ain't some sleeping kind of move. Like, right? If you potentially shorted from the high, I mean, that's a 13% down move. But this is a great time because the 2-hour is crossing on a Thursday. So I can watch that into Friday and see if that is going to give me any basing out signals on a 30-minute. But if it doesn't, then I could potentially hold this to a weekly expected downside move next week. And that would be a great pullback, right? 10% pullback would be nice. So I don't think it's like the worst decision. I don't think you have the best signals for it. But I would definitely be like, hey, I'm in a range right now, stop at the high, targeting next week's weekly expected move. Then you can make good money. And if the money looks good before that, right? If it drops pretty dramatically before that and you're not even at a weekly expected move, what am I? I'm the type of guy that goes, hey, I like that money, I take profit. Right? Now, JP Morgan is what I'll have to look at today. I got to see if I want to sell that. I'm up 300%. It's just picking up. Awesome, Tony. I appreciate you. Now, guys, I do have to hop off, so I appreciate you being here today. I know we talked about a lot of random topics, too, so thank you for allowing me to get a lot of things that have been in my brain for the last couple of days out in there. So is 300 not enough for you? I'm trying to go with the plan here. And the plan for my trade was overall like, hey, if the daily crosses, I'm going to hold that for a couple more days unless we end up at 262. 262 is my first target. It's just we're getting there so fast that I'm like, whoa. Yeah, and a trailing stop is good too. Actually, I need to do that, so I need to set all that up. It's just hard to do during the live show. I literally could be putting a stop at the top of, or at the bottom of every 30-minute bar or top of this bar. So I'll look into it, but yeah, I'll probably end up just taking profit. You know me. But thank you guys so much for joining today. Really appreciate it. If you guys need daily expected moves for Friday, we do have the Patreon that is we're gonna be putting out the daily expected moves for tomorrow. I'm gonna put that up for JPM. I'm gonna put that up for JP Morgan. Okay, so if you want a little JP Morgan thing, little range for tomorrow, and then a range for next week for JP Morgan and all the other stocks that we obviously do. It's all on the right side of your screen over here. We do all of these with weekly and monthly and daily ranges for Friday. So if you want to join the Patreon, it's a great time. I won't say it's a great time yet. I always say it's a great time really close to the end of the month. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you for being a part of this community, contributing to the chat, giving me some stocks to look at. You've made it a lot of fun for today, and I wish you luck with your trades. And if I don't really have to wish you luck because you're out there trading like water, you're managing your risk, and you're managing those trades. So thank you so much for doing that because it makes me feel like we're doing something good here. Have a fantastic day. Peace out.